So we were talking about Dracula and the strange ending of Lords of Shadow 1. But you know, all that the confusion over and the controversy became a lot more clear after the DLCs came out. And thanks to the heaven, the story didn't end up like that because I was like, it would be another cliffhanger Castlevania, that just a hole and that's it. You know, so but now I mean, one thing I love about this saga is that Konami they're really putting their heart into it, and they really want to make a huge solid story because that's one thing about Castlevania that it's not just this fast-paced, action adventure with puzzle solving, um, platforming game. It's not just that. It's like the heart of the story. Well, the story, the heart of it is the story itself. And it is just it's an extremely powerful one. Like I don't know. It is like for me. It is like if Konami sit down and they were like, we got to make a perfect story Castlevania that's gonna be for him. It's gonna be for Lou Dragos, and we're gonna, you know, it's like being designed specifically, to pierce through my heart. I mean, they only had to put the Castlevania title for me to be already like, oh. So that plus adding a lot of deepness to the story, making it very very profound, and for the first time, well, I guess for the first time we got a very very into depth story that you really get into the character a lot. But of course, not to mention Lament of Innocence and Curse of Darkness and other Castlevania. They had that that they give you a character that you will like, and so I don't know. I mean, what I'm trying to say is that I guess the story is deeper than ever before. That's what I'm saying. I mean, they give you this, very super holy hero that Gabriel Belmont is, and the guy's a beast. Like you see that he's pure kindness and he's very noble, but at the same time he's like he he's a beast. Like nobody can stand in his way. Not even Satan could stop him. So I think the ideology of the game is that Gabriel he represents a warrior of light, but at the same time he's like an angel, like a divine being that he has power over the demonic world, over against the a war of apocalyptic fiends and demons and monsters and yeah, he represents that that powerful hero, the with superhuman strength. And when I say superhuman, because well, obviously he was the chosen one, the one meant to survive all that, and the only one from the order of the Brotherhood Knight to survive all that from the Brotherhood of Light. Um, so I was talking about the DLC from Lords of Shadow 1, and it really will explain what happened at the end of that credit. Why the Belmont appear like way in the future till pretty much modern Castlevania era. Um, Appear as Dracula or as a vampire, because they just said Dracula And I remember I was thinking that maybe he's not the actual Dracula, maybe he's just another Dracula, but no, he is the Castlevania Dracula, you know, and and you know the DLC they tell you why he became a vampire and the reason why he accepted that and you know when you see in the epic DLC how he did it, you know, pretty much to help. Okay, the DLC takes takes that, you know, part of the story right after the ending, right? So pretty much the DLC is like the real ending of the story and the real conclusion of the original part. So he pretty much there is this vampire lady called Laura, and she's the daughter of Carmilla, and she's sexy Carmilla. so so he you know she needs his help, and she pretty much asking for help. Then they go through a journey, you know, to pretty much to get to the point where she revealed what she really needs from him, and you know she told him that yeah, you have to become a vampire so you can enter into the underworld or hell to fight pretty much the worst demon in or one of the worst demon in Castlevania history, and you know, and Gabriel he accepted that only because she begged for it, and she was saying that it will be the end of the world, the end of time, and humanity if he doesn't do anything about it, because Gabriel was the only one that could stand against the Forgotten One. That's the name of this demon. So, which led me to say that the Forgotten One was originally from Castlevania Lament of Innocence. That's when you see it for the first time, and you fight him for the first time as Leon Belmont. So, so you know, when I saw that part of the DLC, I was like, wait a moment, the Forgotten One, okay? Now we're bringing another element from Lament of Innocence to Lord of Shadow Saga, and that's one of the elements. They talk about Forgotten One, then they talk about Rinaldo Gandolfi, very important character because he's the one that created the combat cross, which is the vampire killer, and he was, you know, the original maker of the whip in Lament of Innocence. So we're talking about the same character, obviously. Then when you read, you know, the story of the Forgotten One, they talk about the Bernhardt family, which is pretty much like, I think they're supposed to be the worst of all the vampires, of all the evil vampires from the Castlevania universe. They're like the worst fiends because these guys, they come from hell, you know. I mean, it's not like Dracula that he was turned into a vampire. No, these guys, they come from, you know, from the abyss of all the vampires, and I think they're meant to be the firstborn vampires from the Castlevania series, you know, because that's kind of like the way they put it in Lords of Shadow. But originally, the Bernhardt, they come from Lament of Innocence. So, so I mean, Walter Bernhardt, he is the ruler of the castle in Castlevania Lament of Innocence. He is the main evil guy that you have to kill when you play as Leon Belmont, and he's a fucking son of a bitch. Like, you know, like you really hate the guy because what he did to Leon, like killing his fiance pretty much in front of him, and laugh of it, you know. He make a fun of it and everything. I mean, you see that the guy, he's a soulless bastard. That he don't care about anything, you know. He don't have emotions, you know. He has to be enslaved, you know. He had to be destroyed, and that's why the Belmonts exist, you know, to oppose that kind of greater evil. So so you know, one of the points that I'm talking about is to you is that when I start to see all this into the Castlevania Lords of Shadow, I knew that the game is not a complete reboot for the series to the point where it's so distant from the others. No, I mean it is actually related, and they make many like they pay like homage, but at the same time they do a lot of resembles to not like resembles they references. They do a lot of references to Lament of Innocence, and then when I saw that, I was beginning to believe that like what about if Gabriel is meant to be the first Belmont? What about I think Konami they're trying to say that Lords of Shadow would be like the real origin and not Lament of Innocence like they cannot make us believe for a time. No, but when I try to say this to some people they were kind of trying to tell me all the time that no, this is not part of the canon saga. This is a its own Castlevania that doesn't have anything to do with the other Castlevania, and that kind of pisses me off a bit because there are this group of people, and I remember I even have some argument with some people online because of it, and there's always the damn fucking asshole that don't want to accept that this is part of the same universe, that this is still Castlevania, and they're just trying to bring the series, to his roots, to his origin. And there are some people that are so blind to see that, and I don't know why. I mean, maybe because they haven't dig into the story. Like when they see, if you talk about the past canon story from Castlevania, you got to talk about Lament of Innocence too, because it took a big part of the story, and say that that you know that Leon Belmont was one of the first Belmont, and but of course we're talking about a Castlevania that was created by a different director. This guy Koji Igarashi, um, that he did not create Castlevania. He became a soldier of Castlevania. He did great games like Symphony of the Night, and then he remade the old Rondo of Blood and the Dracula X game. Well, the one when Richter appeared first, that is the story before Symphony of the Night, because Symphony of the Night is a sequel to that story, and it's amazing because we got Alucard back, and well, as I call him right now, Alucard Belmont for a reason, for a very beautiful reason. I call him that way now, and so yeah, I mean, so you know what? When you see the real conclusion of the original Lords of Shadow and you see that Gabriel fight against this demon, the Forgotten One, and into a epic, brutal fight, you know, that Gabriel actually like barely survived. He at the end he absorbed the power that is pretty much that vessel power of I guess the Lords of Shadow, and he absorbed that power, right? And he pretty much he cut in half the Forgotten One with this kind of astral power, and you see how you know when he got cut in half, you see in exactly the same way as you find the Forgotten One on Lament of Innocence. Then that part is what it made me believe that this got to be a prequel, to the event of Lament of Innocence. I mean, this is in essence, it is linked to the past canon story, and and that was only the beginning, to see how much related this new saga, Lost of Shadow, was to the old other Castlevania, because after that, you know, it ends in a cliffhanger way too, but in a way more satisfying one because you see Gabriel becoming pretty much a god, a vampire god, and then after that, things are just getting real fucking epic. Okay, try to see part three. if you can, please.